Hello everybody and welcome to the first official book club. So before I get into the first book that I'm going to be reviewing, I'm going to explain what this is. So every week I'm going to try being the keyword, to read a novel from my extensive library collection and do a review. I'm going to be starting a blog. I'm not sure what it's going to be called yet, but as soon as I have it I'm going to annotate it right about here, and then you guys can click on it and you will come up to a written summary of the books that I chose to read that week. So that is essentially the premise of it, and you guys can either read along or maybe give me back your input on the books that I've read, or maybe say, that's an interesting book, maybe I'll read it for next week, and then just keep on going like that. So the first novel that I chose to read for my first official book club video is The Hunger Games. So today is March 25th and the movie came out 2 days ago. I have not seen the movie yet, and I'm not going to see the movie until I read the other two books, but I did read it. I finished it yesterday. Yes, I finished it yesterday. And I borrowed the entire series from my friend, so these actually aren't my books. So as soon as I finish the other two, I'm just going to film a review and I'll upload them over the series of a couple of weekends. So, I read the book. It isn't that thick. It's about like that. So, I mean, I don't even know how many pages. It's 300 and something, 374 pages for this book. And it was... I'm going to be really honest, it was not my favorite book ever. I actually preferred Twilight. I know. It was interesting. It reminded me of Scott Westerfeld's Extras, Pretties, Specials, and Ugly series. I really liked those books, and this was essentially very similar to it. I read that like entire series a long time ago, so I don't remember exactly every detail, but this almost seemed very similar to it, with how they live in District 12 and they go to the capital and there's all this technology. So, I don't know. But the premise of it is there are, well, essentially North America is wiped out and now it's one country named Pan Am, and there are essentially 12 districts. There were 13, but the 13th was blown up, and this was done by the capital, which runs the entire Pan Am country. And now because District 13 was blown up, they have this annual event called the Hunger Games, where they take two teenagers from the ages of 12 to 18 to they take two, so like one girl, one boy, and they all compete in the Hunger Games, where essentially they have to kill everybody else, and the last person standing gets food and money and all this stuff for their district. So, I mean, that was interesting. It was okay. So essentially the person who was chosen from District 12, which is what it's set in, is Katniss Everdeen, and then she has, like, she volunteers for her little sister Prim, and then this other boy, Peta, and I can't remember his last name, honestly, I cannot. Malurk, I think that's what his last name is. I don't know, I'm horrible with character names. But he is chosen too, and it turns out that he has like a crush on Katniss, but she doesn't know this, and he reveals this later on in the novel, and that's when everybody's supposed to like swoon over him, and they're like, oh, I love Peta. I personally don't like him. It's like very similar to just like a coworker that you work with that you're supposed to be pretending, kind of like when you're filming a movie, they pretend that they're in love but they're not actually in real life. It's kind of like that. He strikes me as, I'm going to use another Twilight reference, he strikes me as a Taylor Lautner or Jacob Black, the one person who's always trying to get her love and affection but never does. I know later on they're probably going to end up together because everybody says that, but I don't know. I just don't like him. I prefer Gale. But then again, I don't like him. I think Katniss should just be single. I'm sorry. Those are my own opinions. I know a lot of you would have different opinions, but that's just what I truly think. So, in the Hunger Games, where they have to fight against each other, it's held in this huge arena at the capital. So the capital is so far away, they have to take like a train, and it takes like a day to get there, which is actually kind of cool. And then once you get there, you go from Katniss, who's a hunter who hunts out of like District 12, and which is illegal, and they're very poor. Think of it like a long time ago, before they, like 1920s-ish, they barely have any technology. they're living kind of off the land and they're being controlled by this super powerful government. So she goes from that to the capital, which is essentially, it's like, I don't even know, it's like New York City. There are buildings everywhere. They have all this plastic surgery. Everybody is like stick thin. And it's just, I don't know, it's like, she's never been there and she's never been on a train. It's, I don't know, it's like a first time experience for her. And so she gets there, and then in the games, it's, I don't know, I really did not enjoy the game part. They have to kill everybody else, and some of the ways that they do it, I find are really stupid. And some of the ways I'm like, yeah, in your face, you're dead now. The one that I really enjoyed was when Peeta and Katniss were going hunting, and Peeta was collecting berries, and they were actually poisonous berries. And so they put them back with like their stock, and this one girl, who they nicknamed Foxface, I believe, came and she took the berries and she ate them and she died. And it was an unintentional death, which I thought, it's like, ha, in your face, that's what you get for stealing. But another one that I really didn't like was the one at the very end, which, okay, as soon as I read this part, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna put this book down now that I only have like 9 pages left. I hated it so much. They have the reference to wolves, and honestly, I don't like reading about wolves. I didn't like him in Twilight. I seriously wish that they all just left. I hated Jacob in Twilight. I wanted him to like leave. And as soon as I read it in here, I'm like, oh my gosh, no way. I was so aggravated. But then apparently in the movie they look like bulldogs with like a wolf body or something like that. I have no clue how they decided to project them in the movie. But in this book, not a huge fan of it. But essentially they were supposed to represent all the other contestants of the Hunger Games, and they were like going after their like mutations, going to kill them. There were 3 left. There were Peeta, Katniss, and this other guy, Cato, which I thought it was Cato for the first time I read it. And then, or no, yeah. And then every time that I would try to read it, I would think, oh yeah, it's Cato. And then my sister said it's Cato. And every time I read it now, I think of potato. It's so weird. So every time I see his name, it's like, oh, potato. I'm weird. But yeah, he gets killed by these evil wolf things, and that's probably the most gruesome death. And I didn't get the part where they were on the cornucopia at the very end. That's where he gets killed inside of it, I believe. That part was kind of confusing. I think I would have to see the movie in order to understand it, or talk to other people to understand it. I don't know. I think I was maybe out of it for that section. But yeah. So they end up winning the Hunger Games because they are told that they could, if 2 people from the same district end up like the last 2 people, and that they would win. But then the people from the capital fooled them and said, no, you actually have to kill each other now. So they decided to take the poisonous berries that killed Foxface, to trick the capital, saying that they're both going to die and that they won't have a winner. And they're like, oh no, you can win. But then at the very end, Katniss is confused because Haymitch, her mentor, as well as Peeta's mentor, said that they're mad at you and they might kill you or something. I don't know. That part was also very confusing. And then the entire part about Katniss revealing to Peeta, we're not actually in a relationship, even though we made out and practically had sex. That part also was like, I don't really want to read this. I don't care. Peeta, just like leave. Like go away. I don't like you. So that is my review on the Hunger Games. It was okay, honestly. I probably wouldn't read it again unless one of the other 2 books really, I don't know, draws me in. But apparently the next book is kind of boring. I have both of them here. I have Catching Fire, and then I also have Mockingjay, which I don't have the cover for this one. But they're my friends' novels. I'm going to try to read them all. Hopefully I can read them by like the end of this week, and I'll put up a review for both of them next Sunday. And yeah, so these book club videos, they're going to be coming out every Sunday. Hopefully, if I can read the book before Saturday and film a video and get it up for Sunday, that is awesome. If I can't, then just wait until the next Sunday, because I'm just going to keep on doing these as like my Sunday video. That way I have the weekend to read it, like to read the book in case I didn't finish it during the week. Also, in the next coming month, I am really busy. I have my play that I'm in. our performances are next month, which is going to be super awesome. I'm so looking forward to it, but it's going to be consuming my life. Like, we have practices from right after school, like 2:30ish to 7:30 at night. Some of them are going to be going until 10 o'clock at night. So that is, it's going to be consuming my life. So I may not have time to upload a video or to read a book in like that week, but I'm going to try my hardest. I swear to try my hardest. And I will also write a little blog upload or update about like the book and what I think about it, and I'm going to put it up on my blog, I guess. I haven't made one yet, so there will be an annotation right about here when I do. As well, I'll have like one right now and one at the beginning of the video, so stay tuned for that. And next week I guess my book will be Catching Fire, and then the week after that will be Mockingjay, or maybe I'll upload these two in one video. I'm not sure. But then after that, I do have a couple other books that I have read that I would love to film videos of and just upload them so that you guys can read them, because they are amazing books and you guys should be reading too. My sister just got into reading and she loves it. I love it. I have read so many books. The majority of the books on my shelves, and by the way, there's 2 more down below, I have read pretty much the entire thing. There's still a couple that I have to read, but I have read a lot of books and I love them, and I am just super excited to start this. So I will see you next Sunday, and I hope you guys have a great week and happy reading. Bye!